Thank you, everyone. I would like to call the meeting to order of the directors meeting for the Lincoln City Council for Monday, August 10th, 2020. And in the back northwest corner of the room will be our Opens Meetings Act. Sony, let's see. Anybody have any questions about the minutes? Thoughts? Okay. They stand as written. Adjustments to the agenda. The one thing I'd like to start off, Sony, if you give me a second, is that I want to ask if there's any council members that would like to speak with certain directors, that they could meet us afterwards. Councilman Shobe, is there anybody?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I've spoke to many of the directors already, and I will pass it this time. Thank you.
Okay. Councilperson Washington. Okay.
For the price of one plus a director.
If you think of something.
I can think of something else, I'll come back to you.
Okay. Nothing for you, and for you?
I'm good. Nothing.
Councilman Christensen.
One of those days.
Okay. I don't think I need to talk to anybody either, so. Let's move on to other adjustments to the agenda. Madam Clerk?
Okay, on today's agenda for Monday, August 10th, on the consent agenda, item 1E, bill number is prefixed with the letter A. There was a clerical error. We had already used that bill number, so the easiest way for us to go ahead and keep track of that was just to add the prefix A to the end of that. And let's see here, for public hearing resolution, section 4, I'll be calling items 4B and 4E together. It's
What numbers? I'm sorry.
4B through 4E. I'll call all four together. It's the same applicant, just two different liquor locations,
Okay.
but it'd be the same individual coming up to testify. And then items 5A will have two motions to amend, both by Raybold. I'll be calling item 5C and 5D together.
Okay.
Item 6A, I checked my emails. There may be a request to delay this item one more week, even though it's for action only for this week. 6A, correct.
Yeah, I believe there is.
Okay.
There'll be a motion for a 1 week delay, is that correct?
What date? I know,
6A.
but I'm looking at.
What day did the email
17.
requesting the delay come in?
I just received the email from Ms. Raybold earlier this afternoon.
Oh.
Okay, and then 6A, there will be a delay for 1 week.
I thought we were talking about 6A when you were looking for the email.
Yes, we
on
are
that
talking
one.
about 6A,
6A.
which reminds me, I'd like to speak with David Carey.
So much for getting by, David.
He gets by with a little help from the council.
Section 7, I'll be calling item 7B and 7C together. And then for section 11, it's just a notation regarding the budget ordinances and related resolutions. Will have its final action on Monday, 8/24/20. I just wanted to point that out on this agenda.
Okay, and then I believe there'll be a motion to delay 8C through 8E, I think.
A delay on all of those?
Yeah, if you want to come forward.
Thank you.
We're going to be requesting a delay, a 1 week delay on the items, excuse me, Lynn Johnson, Lincoln Parks and Recreation. We're requesting a 1 week delay on the items related to that land sale of land in the Antelope Creek Greenway to the adjacent property owner, commercial property owner on South 48th Street. Per Councilmember Washington's request, we did have a conversation with Ben Higgins, and if they were to develop impervious surface on that, the desire would be to have that stormwater conveyed through a pipe very low on the Antelope Creek channel. So we'd like to incorporate some language into the purchase and sales agreement about that. And then we've also had some discussion actually with Councilman McGinnis about if there was some development on that site that perhaps led to outdoor storage in that area, that we'd want to have some standards regarding screening of that. So that people on the trail, people using that area of the park, and the residences to the east, that they would not look on essentially unscreened storage in that area or development that might occur in that area. So anyway, we're requesting a 1-week delay in action, and that should give us time to get that amendment drafted and then reviewed with the buyers on this to make sure that they concur with that approach.
Okay, real quick, when you say the pipe needs to be below the stream, do you mean below?
Low on the channel, so essentially getting it
actually
down,
below the
not
ground.
below, but actually low on the channel, so that essentially is discharging directly at the elevation of the water, and then there need to be some energy dissipation after that, so that any water coming out of that doesn't cause erosion in that area of the channel.
Okay. And there's a lot of that up and down that channel. Right
There
now.
is.
There is.
There
So we'd like
absolutely
to
is.
So
resolve it before it
spend some
becomes a
time
problem.
walking it. Thank you for mowing.
Oh, absolutely.
Made it easier
Every
to
2
walk.
weeks, yeah.
Okay, Sony, what else? Anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Mr.
Okay, do you
Chair?
have a question?
Mr. Chair, sorry. Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So just to be clear, 6A is delayed at the request of Councilwoman Raybold, is that correct? Or do we know who asked for that delay?
In
6A.
For 6A, I briefed the email. It looked like there was still some discussion with water.
Okay. Thank
on
you,
up,
David.
David.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's ongoing discussion about the runoff potential when that area is developed. Basically, Watershed has decided that they need some more information, and it appears to us that the applicant has agreed to continue that conversation, so that 1-week delay should allow for that to be conducted and finalized, so that by the time we get to next week, we can take action.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. I have one more quick question, Mr. Chair. At the open comment portion, I assume it's just like a prior open comment periods where people can comment on the budget in terms of Black Lives Matter organizations or anything not on the agenda. I've been asked that.
Anything that's not on our
Or-
current agenda or on future agendas.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
I think it's the same question you just talked about.
Yeah.
Is that the issue, lifestyle? Did you use the word lifestyle?
No, Black Lives Matter or funding the police or
Funding police is on our budget.
The mass.
part of the budget
It's
issues.
part of the
Okay.
budget, and
But
then scope
like-
to
On the
that
budget,
budget. we
Jerry
also-
Raybold just sent me a text message asking, Benny, can you ask Richard about public comment tonight, and if we will continue to allow folks to continue to comment on funding or defunding police?
I just got the same question, not from them, but another constituent. It's an open
It's
At the open mic.
mic
planned for a future
portion.
agenda.
Yeah,
It's on our future agenda to vote on
it'd be
the,
prohibited
on the
then,
budget.
But
correct?
we have allowed it. I'm gonna
Yes.
I understand what the rules are, but we have allowed it for the last few weeks. This is the last open public comment period we will have until the budget. So if we are not going to allow it this time, I would like the words to be compassionately provided and explain why we would not, I'm sorry, I would say we should just listen to it.
I think we are, I think.
That we're gonna just listen to whatever people have to say. We're not gonna tell
Even though
them
it
no.
even though it kind of violates our own rules.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
we've
I mean-
done some because a lot of it was talking about the grant, which is not on our,
Right.
Correct.
which was the main focus of most of their testimony,
Mhm.
except for our budget hearing, where they did talk about items, in our
Mhm.
budget.
Right.
Which I
If they
think was
continue to
appropriate.
do that about an item in our budget that they want funded or not funded, that shouldn't be allowed under our rules.
Right.
Just to throw this out there, is I would agree with Councilwoman Washington. I think that these are very unique times. I think that we need to I think that these are very unique times, and I think that it's important that we, as a council and as representatives, be flexible with our rules and really hear the message from what that people are saying. So I would agree with Councilwoman Washington.
I think we're all saying the same thing.
Good.
I don't think we're disagreeing. I think that we're all on the same page. Mr. Chair, do you agree? I mean, with discretion about the items you mentioned?
Okay. Are we
Yeah,
going to continue to do this for other items?
I would like to just keep this going until, I don't want us to come down hard.
I
until
agree. We don't want to.
Until we
force-
get to the end of this budget cycle. We have dozens, one would say almost hundreds of people who are testifying for the very first time, coming before us for the very first time. And we have had some leniences, and I would just ask that until we get through the vote on the budget, that we allow the same kind of leniences, and then we enact our rules as strictly as we can. But this is an unusual time period, and since we didn't come down hard 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, when people started to comment about things that have some tangential relationship to the budget, I would ask that we not do that right now, right on the cusp.
Okay. Yes, Councilman Show.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I like this conversation. I think we need to keep this conversation in mind when we talk about signs in a few minutes. But I also am concerned that we, as a council, have become quite comfortable just ignoring rules and laws and ordinances. We've got rules and laws and ordinances in place, and we just kind of seem to be going everywhere and bending them constantly. And I'd like us to take a long, hard look on what we've got on the books and what we're following and what we're choosing not to follow. If the rules are bad, then we need to change them. But if they're on the books, they're on the books for a good reason, and we need to stick to them.
Councilman Christensen.
I would agree with my esteemed colleague. The council rules are clearly set forth in ordinance. And the reason they're in ordinance is they're serious. And they're not, no chair can just say, I'm changing the rule. And by doing what we did, we essentially waived the ordinance because our rules are specifically in ordinance. And so it's dangerous ground we tread because we've set a precedent. Now, I agree with Councilwoman Washington that we've set this precedent, and I think it should go until the budget vote on the 24th. And after that, we need to just take a hard look. I think each one of us needs to review the ordinance that contains the city council rules and abide by them. We just need to agree with each other that we will support that action.
Okay. Getting my marching orders.
I feel it's important to apply all the rules and ordinances fairly to all the residents of our community. And it seems to be that we're picking and choosing when we're going to follow them and not
Right.
follow them.
That's what
And I'm not
want.
just talking about in the council meeting, I'm talking about the entire municipal code across the board.
It's kind of what I've been worried about, that, okay, so what happens when something else comes up that
Yeah.
they say, well, we want to talk about that?
Yeah, you let someone else get away with that and not us.
Right. But I also agree that it's been a good conversation, and they've been very civil. Our speakers have been that are talking, so, in a way, they've kind of gone around it, but.
Yeah, and we've
I think-
allowed it.
Yeah, I believe Chair McGinnis and prior Council Chair Jane Raybold, you've both been very fair and open, and to Councilman Shobe's point, I think we have bent the rules, and I think we need to be mindful of our obligations beginning in September, even more so, because we are in unique times, and it is a respect issue for what's going on in our community.
Yep.
Public health and civil unrest, let's just be honest. So,
Yes, civility.
all right, civility, thank you.
Empathy and civility.
Okay.
Yes.
When we do make that, though, we will say that the same rules that we've always had, then we'll move forward. Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor's office.
That was a long wait.
Good.
Good afternoon, Council Chair, Council members. I'm John Carlson, I work in the Mayor's office, and I'm here today Basically, to see if there are any questions for you. I know we had good meetings with council members late last week, so I don't really have anything new to report. And Lynn had an item that he's already spoken to you about, but I know that Pat has an item that she'd like to update you on, if that's okay.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Pat Leach, the Director of Lincoln City Libraries, and I'm here to talk with you about our library board appointment process. I come to you earlier to say, shall we go ahead and accept applications as we have in the past? The library board received 27 applications for the vacant position, and they are recommending that the City Council appoint Jackie Ostrowicki to the board for a 7-year term. She brought forward expertise in communication, skills in building relationships, and ability to connect with the community. We did submit the application that she submitted to the president of the city council, and we also have hard copies of the other applications are available for review if you wish. But I'm asking if you wish for us to move forward with that appointment, and if so, I believe it would be introduced soon, and then Jackie would appear before you at the public hearing and vote for that.
Thank you. Any questions for?
Do you need an action from us today?
I think if it's good for me to move forward, then we'll move forward.
Yeah.
And then the vote will come before you on your agenda.
Yep.
Okay. Good. It's always good to have a lot of applications, and I would just like to point out that this was a remarkably strong pool. So people in the city are willing to step forward in leadership, and I appreciate that. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Pat. And I saw a lot of those applications, and it was really strong. People would like to serve our community and serve on the library board, probably because they got a great executive director. So, okay. Public health update. Was Pat here?
She is.
Good afternoon. I really wasn't prepared to say much today, but I can share with you that we do have the test site up and running out at Gateway, and Brian's working on getting another site so that they can move during the winter time when it might be cooler out there. So it seems like now we're going to be moving our sites east and west instead of north and south a little bit. Test Nebraska continues. We're testing over 400 people a day at that site, so that's been great. We're now up to about 5,000 test kits out to long-term care and assisted living so that they can continue to do testing and move forward. We met with almost all the bars in Lincoln last week, our staff did, and went over any questions they had or concerns. We're doing a little bit more follow-up with a few of them that wanted some additional assistance. So that's been going really well. In addition, we're working with the governor on one of the testing sites that we had a serious delay in getting results back from. So we're hoping to have that resolved very, very soon. And I think you can see, if you're looking at the dashboard or the situational updates, our cases are going down, which we're really, really happy about. With schools starting, we continue to meet with the schools, all the schools in Lincoln and Lancaster County. And we've been working really closely with the university and university athletics. So we have a follow-up meeting again with them tomorrow. So I'll just end there.
Any questions for Pat? Thank you for all your hard work and your staff.
Yeah. Thank
They're
you.
remarkable job they
Yeah.
do.
Okay. Moving on, we already talked to planning about everything, that administrative approvals and other things, so. Okay, constituent correspondence, we've in our packet. And do we have anything else you guys would like to speak about at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll adjourn till 3 o'clock.
Yay.
You